Today I'm going to be defiling this coloring book that I found on one of my recent dollar store trips. There's something about the smell and texture of the newsprintish paper that was so nostalgic that I felt compelled to do some kind of coloring project this week. So I decided to try and turn a few of these weird anime babies into mythological creatures. I'll be using my jelly gouache set once I get them a bit more rehydrated. Most of the videos that I've seen where artists color in coloring books involve them transferring the image onto better paper, but I wanted to keep them all together in their original book, and even though I've got a little light box and it wouldn't be too difficult, I think using gesso will be enough. I already tried a painting prior to filming this video as a bit of a test. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be a disaster. I turned one of the characters into Persephone, Queen of the Underworld. I don't mind it, she looks a bit like an anime Muppet. So let's try a couple more. So to start out, I have to turn this cheap paper into something that's strong enough to hold paint. One of my absolute favorite supplies is gesso, especially black gesso. It basically turns most surfaces paintable for gouache, acrylic, and oil. For this project, I'm putting down an initial coat of clear gesso so I can see the picture through and to create a barrier on the paper. Once I have a better idea what it is I want to paint, I use black gesso to reshape and cover up what it is I want to get rid of. I also love black gesso because sometimes it's a lot less intimidating to paint on a black page than a glaring white one. I don't know anything about these characters that I'm painting over, but I've definitely seen them before at the toy store. I did some initial research into them, out of boredom and out of curiosity. Apparently, LOL Surprise doesn't stand for laugh out loud, but Lil Outrageous Littles, which seems a bit redundant. I thought at first that they looked like baby Bratz dolls, which is actually pretty accurate, since the same company, MGA Entertainment, created both toy lines. LOL Surprise dolls were created in 2016 to capitalize off of the trend of blind unboxing and surprise toys that dominated YouTube at the time, which was a brilliant business move in my opinion. They are still hugely popular, and as of their creation, over 800 million units have been sold worldwide. They were even the Toy of the Year in the US in 2017. There are still quite a lot of the unboxings online, and they still get an insane amount of views, some between 5 to 20 million, which is more than the official LOL Surprise animated show on YouTube. I'm not judging though, because as a kid I really loved surprise toys and blind bags. I even had a puppy surprise as a kid. Does anyone remember those?
Puppy Surprise is having puppies! How many? That's the surprise! Surprise! Puppy Surprise! How many puppies are there inside? 3 puppies! And they're all different! Surprise! Puppy Surprise! 4 puppies! How many puppies are there inside?
According to the LOL Surprise Wiki, the universe of these toys are one where babies run everything, which raises some questions. Are there no adults at all, and the babies are all hyper-intelligent and capable of self-governing in a kind of Children of the Corn scenario? What happens to the babies that age out? Are they sacrificed to the one who walks behind the rows? Or are the adults subjugated and enslaved to provide care and diaper changes for the ruling baby class? From my experience, babies can't even be trusted to keep themselves tidy, let alone to run an entire society. There's something very therapeutic and relaxing in the act of coloring, and it actually has some tangible benefits. As children, coloring is an important part of our development. It's an analog, screen-free activity that promotes fine motor skills, as well as being an early creative outlet. It's a quiet activity that builds focus and concentration. I had a few teachers that were pretty strict about coloring inside the lines, as well as coloring things the right color. I even had one teacher that penalized us for not coloring in a uniform direction, which was not my strength. It feels good to know that she would really not approve of what I'm doing right now. But coloring isn't just for kids. In recent years, adult coloring books have really taken off, though those tend to be more complex and detailed, almost like stained glass. There has also been a resurgence in popularity for activities like paint by numbers and diamond painting, which I believe have the same relaxing effects as coloring does. According to the Mayo Health Clinic, coloring has real health benefits for grown-ups. It promotes mindfulness, which is the ability to focus and to stay in the moment, and it also relieves stress, which is like poison. Every year for Christmas, my mom gives me a coloring book, usually Disney princesses, and we sit and have coffee and color for a few hours. It's a nice, cozy way to spend time together. Mutating these pictures reminds me of the good old days in the early 2000s internet, when I used to go down to the library and print out DeviantArt doll and character bases that I would trace and make my own characters on top of. I guess this is sort of more like an analog version of that. While I was researching these dolls for this video, the Wikipedia article had a controversy section, which included a complaint that they are too anatomically correct, which is a bit silly. I mean, I know babies have big heads, but these mutants wouldn't even be able to lift theirs. The paintings turned out pretty cute. They're no masterpieces, but it was a fun and interesting experiment. I'm more comfortable working in watercolors, but for that I would have needed to transfer the pictures onto better paper. I was rather limited by the character designs, though I had the most fun and I think success with the backgrounds than the main characters in the paintings. I especially liked the pile of skulls in the Persephone painting. Because I decided to make videos every week, it only stands to reason that I'm not going to be thrilled with everything that I make. It's so easy to look at what other artists put out there on social media and to feel like they are so much more consistent with their work than I am. But as Theodore Roosevelt said, comparison is the thief of joy. A quote that I frequently have to repeat to myself. After all, I can only do my best. Plus, I don't want to always only put my best work out there, as if I don't really come out with some real duds sometimes. Just like with coloring, there aren't any rules to art, except maybe things like how the colors mix together and how much paint a piece of paper can handle before it just gives up. But that's really something you can just get a feel for. All in all, maybe I bit off more than I could chew with this art challenge. Initially, I wanted to film 3 paintings, but I always seem to underestimate how much time these things will take, especially with paints like this that I'm less comfortable with. I tend to just keep working on it and layering it on and on and on, which although is relaxing, it's not time efficient. I really liked using the jelly gouache in the coloring book. I like how it dries matte, unlike the sheen of acrylic, and unlike acrylic, it won't make the pages stick together. If you're someone who art journals, this is a great alternative. This would be a great activity if you've got an art block or just want to relax and color in a bit of a unique way. If you want to color way outside the lines. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay warm.